This time I am going to say a few things about adjectives in Somali and how adjectives are inflected in different forms. In many languages, adjectives are inflected in a number of different forms with different endings. And the reason is that adjectives describe nouns, and in order to show that a certain adjective belongs to a specific nouns, they often agree in some kind of form, so that one can tell from the form of the adjective that it has the same form as the noun that it belongs to. And this is the case in Swedish, French, Arabic, and many other languages. Let's just have a quick look at an example from Italian, where we can see that the adjective meaning little has the same ending as the noun meaning house. And here another instance where the adjective has the same ending as the noun meaning cat. And casa is feminine, whereas gatto is masculine. And that's why then the adjective has different forms when it occurs together with these two nouns. And furthermore, in the plural, the adjective has the same ending as the noun, and here we can see that those are two other endings. So the adjective then has four different endings, showing the gender and the number of the noun that it belongs to. So English is different. English doesn't have this kind of inflection of adjectives. In English, there are no genders, so there is no reason for inflection of adjectives based on gender. And also, when it comes to number, the English adjectives do not agree with the noun. So there is no difference between a small house and two small houses. It's always small. So what about Somali then? Well, also Somali has very little inflection. One can say almost no inflection. So if we look at a couple of examples, we can see that there is no difference when it comes to the form of the adjective depending on the gender of the noun. So we have kap, which is a feminine noun, and dap, which is a masculine noun. So we have kapta, yar, and also dapka, yar. And it's always yar. There is also no difference based on whether the noun is definite or indefinite. Notice also that the adjective in Somali always follows after the noun. So what about plural then? Well, there is inflection that is connected to the plural, and this kind of inflection is based on reduplication, and it's the beginning of the adjective that is reduplicated. It's repeated, one could say. So if we look at a couple of examples, we have a broken wing, bal jaban, and then if we put the wings in the plural, we get balal, with reduplication, because this is a masculine short monosyllabic noun, a noun with only one syllable. So we have balal, wings, and we can say jaban also here. But we can also say balal jajaban, broken wings, with reduplication on also on the adjective. So we have two different possibilities in the plural. We can use the adjective without reduplication or with reduplication. But what is funny is that we can also use the reduplicated form with a noun in the singular. So if we say a broken house, guri jajaban. Guri is singular, but jajaban is reduplicated. So this is not exactly the same as the plural form of the adjective. Instead, this reduplicated form of the adjective indicates that the quality that the adjective describes is spread either to several items or to several parts of one single item, which is then the case in the last example. So we have a house which is broken in many places. A broken house is not just broken in one place so that we get two pieces of the house, which would probably be kind of what would be understood if we used the form jaban, just broken in the middle into two pieces, which is then what would be natural about a broken wing, a wing with one rupture broken into two pieces. And of course we could have many wings broken in one place, or we can have many wings broken in many places. And finally one house broken in many places. And this many wings broken in many places is kind of could be interpreted in two ways. Either each wing in one broken in one place, that makes the wings broken in many places, or each of the wings broken in many places, that also gives us many wings broken in many places. Yeah, I hope I've demonstrated by now that the reduplicated form is not exactly a plural form, and therefore it could be good not not to call it the plural form of the adjective, but to call it something else. And a possibility is to call it the distributive form of the adjective, a form that tells us that the quality is distributed to either several items or several parts of one single item. Then adjectives show different forms for different degrees of comparison. And this is something that happens in English and many other European languages. We have the basic positive form big, we have the comparative degree bigger and the superlative degree biggest. And Somali also has the possibility to make these comparisons, but Somali doesn't do it with endings. Instead, Somali does it with small grammatical words that are placed before the adjective. The comparative is expressed by ka, which is a preposition that in this context means then. So it's not really bigger than, it's just big than. And the superlative degree is expressed by the particle gu. And this particle corresponds to the most, or the very best, the very biggest. But it doesn't probably mean exactly the most. And it's kind of unclear what the origin of this particle and its meaning really is. It seems as if it's a combination of two prepositions, but it's not really clear why that combination of those two prepositions have come to be used in this function. So it's probably best to just see it as a superlative degree particle, ugu, uguwain. And that's the end of this video. Of course, there is more to say about the distributive form and its uses, and also about constructions with the comparative as well as the superlative degree. So we will come back to that later on.